Welcome student to the biochemical test for the detection of disturbances in carbohydrate metabolism part 2. So in part 2 we will see the some protein which are used for the determination of blood glucose. So the protein which are used for the determination of blood glucose are called glycated protein. So glycated proteins means proteins bind with glucose or carbohydrate. So the phenomenon of binding glucose molecule irreversibly to the protein, it form glycated proteins. Means when glucose or carbohydrate molecule irreversibly bind to the protein present in blood, form glycated protein. So the glucose molecule is covalently bound to the free amino group of protein. The mostly amino acid which are used for the or which used to bind glucose are lysine or valine by non-enzymatic glycation mechanism. So this glycated intermediate is unstable and immediately undergo classic Amadori rearrangement to form stable ketoamines. So we know that glucose is a aldose sugar, but when it binds to the amino acid of protein, this intermediate is unstable and this aldose sugar is converted into ketose sugar. So this reaction takes place by classic Amadori rearrangement to form stable ketoamine. As we know, when sugar is bind to the amino acid or protein, it's called amino sugar. So here from that word it is called ketoamines or aldoamines. The carbon backbone of this ketoamine is identical to fructose. Now we will see the classical Amadori rearrangement, what is happen in that reaction. So here you see that this is the aldose sugar, or we say glucose, and this is amino acid of particular protein. So amino acid is binding to the first carbon of glucose. It adding hydrogen to the aldehyde group and amino group to first carbon. Then rearrangement takes place. You can see here the OH group from one end and hydrogen group from other end is removed as a water. So it form double bond at amino acid in the first carbon. Then in same reaction again hydrogen is added. So it form, here you can see the hydrogen is added. Then in same reaction the hydrogen is again removed. So here it form the double bond between first carbon and second carbon. Here again hydrogen is removed from the second carbon. Then again second hydrogen is removed from second carbon. At the same time, or we can say the hydrogen from second carbon here is reshuffled to first carbon and it form keto sugar here. So aldehyde group with amino acid binds to the first carbon and hydrogen added to aldehyde group. Then water molecule is removed from the first carbon to form double bond. Then hydrogen is again added here. Then hydrogen is removed from the second carbon to form double bond, and then again hydrogen is shuffled from second carbon of OH group to the first carbon to form ketoamine sugar. So aldehyde sugar, it form the ketoamine sugar. So when protein of this protein ketoamine complex is hemoglobin, the product is called hemoglobin A1C. So when protein is bind to the glucose is called glycated protein, but if the protein is specifically hemoglobin, then it is called hemoglobin A1C complex. So it was first identified as a fast moving minor hemoglobin component by electrophoresis. So when the protein of the complex is albumin or total serum protein, the product is called fructosamine. So student, here if the glucose is bind to the specifically hemoglobin, then it is called HB1AC. If glucose is bind to the total protein or albumin, then it is called fructosamine. When albumin ketamine is specifically measured, the product is sometimes also called glycoalbumin. The binding of glucose to protein occurs firmly and constantly over the lifespan of particular protein. So when glucose is present in blood, it will get bind covalently, irreversibly to protein until the half-life of that particular protein. This glycated protein reflects the average blood glucose concentration over the half-life of protein. So that glucose which bind to the protein from glycated protein is represent the blood glucose concentration over the half-life of protein. Means if there is a constant amount of protein, so whatever the glucose present in blood, it will maximally bind to the protein. If more RBC are present, more glucose will bind. If less RBC will present or hemoglobin present, less glucose will bind. Thus they offer the mean are used to evaluate the long-term average blood glucose level in diabetes. So first we will see hemoglobin A1C. So it reflects the average blood glucose level over the period of half-life of RBC or hemoglobin. So in as we said, hemoglobin A1C means when glucose is bind specifically to the hemoglobin. Hemoglobin are present in RBC. So that whatever the blood glucose is attached to hemoglobin A1C, it represent the blood glucose level for half-life of RBC. For example, the canine erythrocyte lifespan 100 days and half-life is about 60 days. So when you will estimate the hemoglobin A1C, it will reflect the average blood glucose over the previous 2 months before the sampling. So 60 days is equal to 2 months. So whenever you will collect the blood from canine and you will estimate the blood glucose, it will give the average blood glucose for the last 2 months. In cat, the erythrocyte lifespan is 70 days and half-life is about 40 days. So when you will collect the blood from cat and estimate the blood glucose, it will give the average blood glucose for previous 6 months of that cat. The use of HB1AC is well established mean for monitoring long-term average blood glucose in human diabetics. So in human, HB1AC is used to measure the average blood glucose for a long time for the assessment of diabetes. The methods all rely on the structural properties of HB1AC for their separation. So that method used for the human HB1A1AC are not directly applicable to animal hemoglobin A1C. The method which are normally used for the human HbA1c are affinity chromatography, ion exchange chromatography and high performance liquid chromatography, also called HPLC. Then another methods are electrophoresis, immunoassay and colorimetrical method to measure the formation of 5-hydroxymethyl perfluoryl thiobarbituric acid. The HPLC method is most widely used in human. For canine, 5-hydroxymethyl perfluoryl thiobarbituric acid method is most promising. So HbA1c is directly related to the amount of red blood cells. Therefore, anemias or polycythemia must be ruled out. As we know, anemias means less hemoglobin and less RBC. In that case, even though if the animal is suffering from anemia, even though animal having higher blood glucose, but due to unavailability of hemoglobin to bind to the glucose, the average blood glucose will be show less. Whereas in polycythemia, the RBC number is increased. So means if RBC numbers will increase, so more glucose will bind to the RBC. In that case, it will show overestimation of blood glucose, even though the person is not diabetic or the blood glucose remain normal. So anemia and polycythemia must be ruled out before estimation of HbA1c.